Hi friends, this is Bilal Haider, and today we are going to start learning about Unity networking, and we'll focus on programming aspect, and we'll learn how to send data from server to clients, and from clients back to server, and then synchronize all the data across all the instances, like all the clients and on the server. All right. We'll learn several attributes, like mm, what is a server attribute, and what are sync wars, and what is client RPCs, and what is server callback, and all that. All right. So for that, we let's go ahead and open up our Unity software, and let's create a new project, and let's call this one Unity networking game. All right. And let's create a 2D, and let's create project. Okay. So while it's creating a new project for us, I need to talk a little bit um, about what we'll use in it. All right. So we can actually go ahead and create an empty game object and add networking components to it, but that's very basic, and you can already find some videos about that on YouTube. So in this video part, we're going to add a um, network lobby manager component, or actually it's a package, and that we'll add in our game, and then we'll start coding our game, because we are making this networking um, network game. So this will be the best option to use. Okay, so if we are making a multiplayer game and it's a network game, then network lobby is the best option which you can use. And yeah, so you just search network lobby in asset store, download it, and then import it. All right. So now this network lobby is it's actually imported. So what we'll do, we'll actually go ahead, and we already have this empty scene right now. And before we actually go, let's create some folders. One folder for scenes, and one folder for scripts. um, yeah, this is pretty much all for this. Actually, now let's go ahead and actually drag this lobby manager prefab in our game, and then now let's actually set up this. First of all, let's save this scene. Let's call it lobby scene. And then now we're actually going to um, create our empty game object. This will be our game object. This will be our player prefab, which will be instantiated on every single client's machine. All right, so let's call it player, and it won't have any scripts at this point because we're just setting it up. So we'll move this player into our project window here, and we'll use this as a prefab um, for our game. Alright, so now let's go to lobby manager, and we give it our lobby scene. But before we actually add it to our lobby manager here, we need to add it to the build settings. So drag it, and that's all. Now if we will add it, it will be added. Now we also need to save it, and now let's go ahead and create a new scene. And in that scene we will actually, let's create a simple UI, and let's create an image, and let's drag this image so to use as a background. And now let's call it background. And the next thing which we'll do is we'll create this will be our we'll save that scene, and we'll call it play scene. Alright, so the purpose of this video series is to learn about how the network programming works. Okay, so we are just setting up a very basic scene just to test out how data is synchronized over the network to the clients and on the server. So for that we actually need some setup to test out all those things. So what we have done, actually, we created a lobby scene, and we added a lobby manager prefab to it, and then we set it up like we have added the lobby scene, and now we will add the play scene in here. Alright, so before we actually go and do that, we have to go to build settings and add the play scene, and now we can add it here. Now the next thing which we will give it is this game player prefab, which will be our player. So we have created this this player, and before we actually go and add we add it to our lobby manager here. We provide this game player prefab to our this lobby manager. We need to add a network identity component on it, and we will give it local player authority. Alright, so now if we save it, and if we play our game, let's see what happens. We can play and host it on our local machine. We can play between two players. We can add more players later on, but for now, okay. So when both of players join the game is started and the play scene is loaded. And what you will notice in here that our player prefab was instantiated 2 times on our PC. Okay, so one of these two players is one player, and the other player is the second player. Okay, so if we play this game over the network, like you are sitting in your home and I'm sitting at my home, we will both have this scene instance running on both of our computers. Alright, so you will be having both player prefabs on your computer, and I will be having two players on my computer as well. Okay, so these two player clones are actually our player prefabs. All right, now we'll actually go ahead and in our lobby scripts, we'll go and find our lobby manager. All right, so we'll open this script up and we'll actually customize our player. All right, and before okay, so it will take some time to open. All right, so while it's opening, what we'll do here, we'll do a tiny change in here. All right, so sometime sometimes it stucks. So anyways, so while it's loading, um, it's opening up Visual Studio for me so that I can write some code or edit some code. Alright, so now it works. Alright, so what we'll do actually, we will add actually an image component on our player prefab, and we'll give it this UI sprite. Alright, and now let's go ahead and play the game and let's see what happens. So play and host, add two players, join both of them, and now what happened actually, it created our both of two players, but because they're not under the canvas, we cannot see them on here. Alright, so what we need to do is we'll write a simple script. We're just setting up our game, alright, so that it works well. So we'll create a new script and we'll call it set parent. Okay, so added script. Alright, so when our game starts, what we want to do, we want our game object to have parent canvas. Alright, so what we'll do, we'll actually create a game object obj is equal to game object dot find canvas, game object dot transform dot set parent obj dot transform. Alright, so now if we'll play this game and we play and host it, what will happen when this game is loaded, they alright, so they did not actually okay, we did not saved this script. It's not getting saved for some reason. Alright, so now the script is saved. Now we'll play it again. Play and host, add two players, And now you will see, because both of our players are under the canvas, they will both appear on the canvas, although their position is not very well at this point. So what we'll do, um, we'll actually go to our lobby scene, sorry, play scene, and under canvas we'll create um, spawn point, spawn point 1, duplicate that, spawn point 2. Alright, so we'll drag this spawn point over to here, and our second spawn point over here, and we'll add network start position to both of these spawn points, and we'll save it. Alright, now we'll go back to our lobby scene, and on this lobby component, under spawn info we'll choose round robin. Alright, we can also drag this player prefab onto here and save it. Now let's play, and let's see if our players spawn at that location where we want them to be spawned. Alright, so our first player is here and our second player is here, so they are now spawning at the right location. So what round robin function does is, if you have 4 players and you have 4 spawn points, every single player gets its own unique location. Alright, so one player does not spawn on top of each other. Alright, so if you'll use a random in here, the player will spawn randomly. So it can happen that 2 players are spawned at the same location, which we don't want in our case. Alright, so we'll use round robin, and yeah, now that we have we set up our player, what we'll do, and we also changed its parent, what we'll do, we'll actually go to lobby manager, and we'll find a function which says on lobby scene let me find it. Alright, so this is the function which we were looking for. It is on lobby server scene loaded for player, and as you can see here on our lobby manager, when we play the game, when we play it and when we host it, you are able to see that our player has some properties. Alright, it has a name and it has a color, and yes, so we can apply these values to our game players to make it unique, and when we want to do some stuff with our player in our game, if we have a unique name to it, if it has a unique name and a unique tag with it, we can do certain stuff like in card games and stuff like that. We can actually do some stuff if it has unique names. Alright, so now that we have these colors here, we can actually write some code in here, and because those properties are attached with this lobby player component, we can we can grab those values and apply to our game player component. Alright, so let's do it in here. So what we'll do, we'll actually create um, lobby player is equal to lobby player dot get component lobby player. Alright, so we have actually created a lobby player object, and because this is a game object, we need to find its component lobby player. So what we have done, we have actually created an object, and from this game object we um, we grabbed that lobby player component. And because this lobby player component or this lobby player object has the color, the name, properties with it, we can grab those properties from it and apply it to our game player. Okay, so now let's go ahead and game player dot um, get component image dot color is equal to lp dot player color, and game player dot um, game object dot name is equal to lp dot player name. Alright, and now we'll actually not pass um, alright, so because this game players values are changed here, we applied a new values in here, and now this game player gets these new values, and this changed game player game object will be passed to this lobby hook, which will change its properties when our game starts. Alright, so now let's go ahead and play, and let's see if it happens or not. Plain host, add two players, player 1, player 2, red and this cyan color. Alright, so now you can see that our players, they got their player 1 and player 2 names. Alright, and they also got their colors, and these colors are synchronized over the network. Alright, okay, so now let's pause the game, and so here we have successfully um, applied our lobby players values to our game player object. Alright, so until now it was very simple, but from now on we'll write some function and we'll attach it to our player prefab, and from that point we will be syncing data across the network. Okay, so stay tuned in the next part. I'll see you next time. Have fun, take care, and bye bye.